I would say I'm a first time caller, but I actually called you one other time, probably sometime in 2019, and I was on one of the major highways in the beltway of Washington, D.C., and my work truck broke down. And while I was just waiting for things, I was just like, hey, I'm listening to you, and I got nothing to do because they're sending a guy to rescue me in the middle of the highway. And I called.
That is awesome. You were stranded on the Beltway around Washington.
Yes.
That's a horrible road. I hated
Oh,
driving
and
around
it
that.
was like there wasn't actually a place for my truck to be. So I was actually in the way.
I just can't imagine, man, because I remember driving around that thing. It's like this is like a racing game on like PlayStation. It's like if I slow down, I'm gonna die. I'm just gonna get caught in the traffic, and they're just gonna like roll over me or something.
I
Oh
got
my
out and
gosh.
walked, and then some Uber driver picked me up, and they didn't even charge me because they were like an Uber driver and a Lyft driver and a whatever other app there is for drivers.
That's funny. uh, hey, so you used a Bluon? Is that right?
Well, no, I've not used the Bluon app or the Bluon refrigerant, but I think his part of his question got confused because he's wondering what the heck Bluon is. And Bluon is weird because it was a refrigerant and it still is a refrigerant, but now
Mm-hmm.
they're like a social media
Is
and
that what
they're
it
like an
is?
app.
Social media? It's because I'm
Yeah, so
not well
you
versed
and
on modern
any
Bluon.
contractor, can get a can you just essentially prove you're a contractor by saying that you work in HVAC, and then you get an account. And though there's no ads on the app because it's just like it's like Slack for all of the anybody who wants to be a part of it. And they do have 24-hour people, and they hire people who either have 10 to 15 years experience, and you can work remote and work whatever hours you want. You just answer phone calls.
So
That's a side gig.
how
That's a
do they
side
make
gig that
money
we
then? Do you
someone
know?
who's worked 10 to 15 years can do. You could do it, and you could answer phones all day
Oh my
and still
gosh.
do this.
I don't. Well, yeah, I'm sort of what I'm doing already. I guess answering
Well,
phones.
you could make your own social media. What you're doing is we need to ramp that up because I think that's what Bluon's doing. Bluon's trying to create a community where you can help each other out, and I think where they're getting their money is from teaming with doing the service desk work for the distributors because their service desks suck. Back in the day, the service desk was like uh, Jim Bergman. He was a service desk guy. Nowadays, it's just a kid who's working for not very much. So he can't really know much,
That's
and no one
interesting.
knows how this stuff works anymore.
Well, okay. So, are you saying that? Do you know this? That if you call, like let's say there's a supplier,
20
there's a company, they will refer you to Blue One as their source for technical
they
information.
they are trying to catalog all of the schematics, and they'll pull up the schematics on their app. You can get the schematics for a lot of systems, so if you can just use it solely to look up the schematics for units that you're looking at because you never have the schematics. So that's one of the things they're trying to do is just have all the schematics. If they don't have it, you can call someone 24/7 and they will find it.
That's okay. That's pretty interesting. But still, who's paying them? Who's giving them all the
They're
money?
probably venture capitalists. They're like Uber. They don't actually survive as a business, but they're trying to change something.
So you think people are just putting this money up because of the movement, and then
Well,
that's
no,
what
I
they're
think
investing in?
I think the distributors are putting up the money because now they don't have to hire a help desk, and they've already had problems with that because none of their guys who know anything stay.
I could see that being a possible way they would make money, just to kind of like letting them sub out this stuff they don't want to
Yeah,
do anyway.
well, yeah, because you got to make money, but people have a lot of money, and sometimes they just pump things up to possibly make more money. And actually, I think it's a good idea, but I think you're doing the same thing. You could do the same thing.